Welcome to the Finance Magnates Blockchain Podcast. I'm Rachel McIntosh. Cypherium, a new blockchain network that has branded itself as a highly scalable and permissionless hybrid platform based on proof of work and Byzantine fault tolerance consensus, was chosen as an investment by Pantera Capital in mid-February. Pantera is an investment firm and hedge fund with a focus on blockchain technology, and it has chosen a series of successful blockchain initiatives in the past. Recently, Finance Magnates spoke with Cypherium co-founder and CEO Sky Guo and Sicong Zhuang, researcher at Cypherium. So my first question for both of you is just generally, for people who don't know what Cypherium is, what is it? What is Cypherium and how does it work?
Cypherium is the next generation public blockchain infrastructure. It improves the transaction speed and also introduces a more effective governance model. Bitcoin and Ethereum currently suffer serious scalability problems, we know. So they can only process 7 to 12 transactions per second, while VisaNet could process over 2,000 per second, making current blockchain really expensive and ineffective for practical use. While Cypherium aims to provide an infrastructure that could support at least 100 and 1,000 transactions per second and would be viable for enterprise applications and users' daily purchase. And also, Cypherium introduced a multi-level governance mechanism, which means that it separates the governance from the protocol and the governance of the application. So for the protocol governance, the miners, they are able to decide the parameters, how many the transaction fee they want to charge, and the block size for the transaction. While for the application governance, it's completely in control of the users, so they could decide their security policy and who could access their data. And so by making it separate, we create a more stable blockchain infrastructure.
I see. So can you tell me a little bit more about this multi-level governance mechanism? Who can participate in governance on Cypherium?
Okay, so if you are a miner and you maintain the network, you could vote on the parameters of the protocol, such as the gas fee and the block size, because you know what your capacity is, how many transactions you can process, and also how much electricity you cost while you're processing these transactions. But for the application developers who create smart contracts, they want more freedom and privacy, and they want to be able to have more control of their decentralized apps. So the application governance is controlled by the developers and the users.
I see. And so who are the intended users of Cypherium? Is this mostly an institutional network, or is this intended for individuals?
So we are a public blockchain that aims for enterprise clients. So public means that everyone could enter and leave the network whenever they want. And also the network is completely decentralized because all nodes are the same. There's no master node or some kind of delegated nodes. Well, we are also aiming for enterprise applications that requires high transaction volume.
I see. So then in terms of adaptability, are there any, does Cypherium have user interfaces or APIs that go along with the network?
We're currently building that. So Sicong, would you like to give some insights here?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, I'm curious about user interfaces and APIs that will go along with the Cypherium network. Can you just tell me a little bit more about those?
Okay, yeah. As of the API, so the blockchain is split into two parts. One is the consensus part, and the other is the virtual machine. And on top of the virtual machine, we will enable the future users to build their applications using a standard programming language. And in our current plan, we plan to provide a set of APIs, and in terms of a set of language. In terms of the library to the targeting language to the user.
I see. So that's something that's on the way at the moment.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So has the Cypherium ICO taken place yet?
So we previously did a pre-sale, and it's closed. So not public sale. And for the ICO, because there are concerns with regulation, we are not sure. But we expect to launch a public sale after we deliver our mainnet, which is scheduled to launch at the second quarter of this year. So it's likely to happen from April to June.
I see. So you mentioned regulation for a moment there, and there's a lot going on in the United States and around the world in terms of regulation on cryptocurrencies and ICOs. So what is Cypherium doing or planning to do to make its ICO more compliant?
First is that we will always keep up with the newest regulation. Mm-hmm. So we are currently working with Cooley LLP, one of the most prominent legal firm in the ICO field. They always have the most up-to-date information. And also, Cypherium is a utility token, so we do not represent any kind of security, and the tokens are solely intended for executing a smart contract. And since our public sale will happen after we deliver the network, so that means it's not a SAFT token, it's just the actual token of the platform that's gonna be sold.
I see. So once the ICO is all over, how can someone like me purchase Cypherium tokens? Has Cypherium partnered yet with any exchanges?
We are working with them now, and if you'd like to purchase, please follow our most recent updates.
Okay. Can you tell me about interoperability on the Cypherium network?
Sure. Currently, the first case of interoperability we're focusing on is the migration of some legacy system to a blockchain-oriented system. So we adopt Java programming language as our smart contract language because Java is the most widely used blockchain and enterprise programming language. So for enterprise application developers, they could easily switch to Cypherium and they code their smart contract application. And also Cypherium aims to be interoperable with other blockchains through side chains, and we are currently working with IC3. So that's an initiative for cryptocurrencies and contracts. It's led by the kernel tech, and they created some which is called T-chain. It's atomic sidechain solution, and we plan to adopt that. So with that, Cypherium is able to contact with other blockchains and create inter-blockchain transactions.
Okay, I see. And then another question actually about the ICO. So in the Cypherium white paper, it's written that, quote, for initial distribution, Cypherium will make every reasonable effort to ensure the distributed ownership of tokens consistent with our belief in decentralization. How exactly is Cypherium planning to make its ICO more fair and more inclusive?
So definitely there will be some kind of KYC check, and we want to make sure it's fully in compliance of the regulatory, and we might also set up some caps for individuals, so they could only purchase a certain amount and no more than that.
Okay, I see. So now I'm curious about both of you. How did both of you get involved in blockchain and in this project specifically?
Okay. I first became interested with Bitcoin back in 2012. So, I started trading and also using Bitcoin. By that time, I was using Bitcoin mainly for payment, not for investment.
Mm-hmm.
And around 2016, the blockchain technology became hot, and I went to Draper University and learned about the startups that are working on blockchain applications. And have you heard about the Boost VC?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, Boost VC was one of the most active accelerator for blockchain startups, and it was I went to Draper University, and it's very close to Boost VC, and I learned. I talked to some entrepreneurs there working on blockchain ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and then I became interested in Ethereum and its smart contract. Ethereum is great, but it also had security and scalability problems. We know about the DAO attack and the CryptoKitty incident last year.
Yes.
Yeah, so Ethereum, we feel it's still experimental. We definitely need a better blockchain infrastructure that's more practical. So we decided to roll out a new blockchain, and I brought in my friends such as Nate, Solomon, and Sicong, and we started working on this new idea. And so would you like to also give you an introduction about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm now a PhD student in Barcelona Supercomputing Center.
Mm-hmm.
My topic is on artificial intelligence, deep learning. And about the cryptocurrency, I've always heard about news from time to time before joining Cypherium.
Mm-hmm.
And it is since I was in contact in Sky and Nate, I started to learn the full power or the full potential of the crypto the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
So then I decided to hop on board, and because I think it is something that can potentially change the world.
Yes.
And I see maybe later we can combine the artificial intelligence into the blockchain. So for me, it's out of interest and out of the will to make something cool to the world.
Yes. So tell me a little bit more about these. Will Cypherium incorporate artificial intelligence then, or is that just something that's kind of on the back burner of your mind?
Well, for now, since blockchain is a public ledger,
Mm-hmm.
the data it contains is enormous, and it's very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that I have in mind is to combine blockchain with big data analysis with machine learning.
Ah, okay. Within the context of Cypherium, or just in general?
It's a general context, but Cypherium, we will realize that the concept.
Okay, that's really exciting. So, of course, Pantera took an interest in Cypherium and became one of Cypherium's major investors. Why do you think that Pantera decided to collaborate with Cypherium?
Pantera is always looking for some most potential projects that could disrupt the blockchain technology. We know that they did a Bitcoin, Ripple, and Ethereum are very successful, and they saw the quality of our project and our team and also our advisors, and that's why they believed in us.
Who are some of the advisors for Cypherium?
Okay, we have Amin Gensire. He's a professor at Cornell University,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very talented in the blockchain technology. And also Jeremy Gardner. He was co-founder of Augur and also co-editor of the Distributed magazine.
I see. Are there any other notable investors or collaborators or partnerships that we should know about for Cypherium?
Some of our investors and the supporters are really famous, but they decided not to disclose their names because we only did a private sale, so supposed not to be public.
I see. So
yeah, they are concerned also with some regulation like that stuff, I guess.
That makes a lot of sense right now. So where do both of you see this project, after the ICO is all said and done, after the network has been up and running for, let's say, 2 or 3 years? Ideally, what do you want this project to look like then?
We hope that Cypherium could be a universal blockchain that supports application adoption, such as Ethereum and Neo, and also the enterprise could use Cypherium as a trusted ledger for their business transactions and also other data that they want to put on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I share the same vision as Sky. I could have said it better.
I see. So kind of speaking, in the context of Cypherium and also outside of Cypherium, what do both of you think that it's going to take for financial institutions and governments and, other major systems in the world to start using blockchain in a really serious way?
We first must solve some of the challenges of blockchains, such as the privacy and also anti-money laundering, the KYC requirement. Mm-hmm. And currently, Bitcoin and Ethereum do not have perfect solution for that, and we must try to solve. And also, how to protect user security. That's another key question. And after we are able to address these problems and provide a solution, we will start working with these governments and the corporations to let them adopt our technology.
Sky and Sicong, thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you.